everyone, today we're making Pizza Bianca. One of the things I love is we've made this many times in our family over the years. It's quick, easy, preservative-free pizza dough in minutes, quicker than actually going to grab takeaway. So now I've found the Pizza Bianca, just as simple as tapping there and jumping straight into the recipe. So before we start cooking, the difficulty for this one's easy. I love that my children can make this one on their own and they whip up a really good pizza. So what we have ready is plenty of garlic, so you can never have too much garlic. And 3 rosemary twigs, just stripped from the stalk. And it's as simple as just taking that off the stalk and popping it into your Thermomix. That's just going to ask me to give that a quick scrape down of the sides of the mixing bowl. And the best way to push this back down to the blade is just to vertically scrape. We're going to give that another chop. Okay, so it's time to take that out and set it aside. We're actually going to use this beautifully chopped rosemary and garlic to dress our pizza. If you like fresh herbs, you can actually leave the herbs in the jug and just let them knead straight into the bread dough as well. So no need to wash that up. We're just going to pour in 220 grams of water. A teaspoon of raw sugar, which is actually optional, so if you're reducing your sugar, you can leave that one out. And 2 teaspoons of dried yeast. It's now going to heat for 2 minutes at 37 degrees, which is the perfect temperature to get your yeast activating. Time to actually add our baker's flour in. The reason we use baker's flour is it has a higher protein than regular flour. One of my favourites is to use an organic baker's flour, which is unbleached as well. Of baker's flour that we've just popped in, with 30 grams of olive oil and a teaspoon of sea salt, and just pop that on top of the flour. This wheat symbol here is actually our dough mode, so now we're going to knead the dough. We have our beautiful dough all ready to turn out onto our Thermomix mat for proofing. Give the blade a little wiggle from the base and that will release the dough and it all comes out onto the mat. Just going to roll that into a ball and then we're going to set that aside and let that proof for at least 15 to 20 minutes before we come and roll it out and get our pizza ready to pop into the oven. So I'm going to come back to my home screen, swipe into my modes, tap on the pre-clean and activate the pre-clean function. The pre-clean function will actually adjust and it will sense traction within the jug and how much residue is left within the bowl and automatically warm the water and wash that up. So if you're finished cooking with your Thermomix, you can drop just a tiny drop of dishwashing liquid into the jug, pop the pre-clean mode on and let the Thermomix do the work. So once your pre-clean has come to the end, if you have a second jug, you can continue on to grate your cheese. If you're turning it into a pizza, chop your onion, blitz up a bit of bacon if you're making pizza rolls. One of the things that I love about having a second jug is that I don't have to wait for my jug to dry and I can go on and keep cooking straight away. So there's our pre-wash done. And I'm going to take that over to the sink now. So one of the biggest tips is when you're doing your dough is to wash up your jug straight away, otherwise you may end up with dough stuck underneath your blades, and if that dries it becomes very hard and difficult to clean. So here we have our beautiful dough that's been sitting on the bench for approximately 20 minutes. I always use my spatula for a lot of my jobs in the kitchen. So just cutting that in half, never cut on your silicone bread mats. If you only want to cook off one of these, you can actually wrap this up, roll it into a ball, and you can pop it into the fridge or freezer and use it at another time. So I'm quite gentle with my bread dough, so I elongate it, just stretch it, and then I'm going to press that out. So you could make this into pizzas, popping them on trays. Today what I'm going to do is squash these out into a flatbread, and I'm going to make a beautiful garlicky hummus to go with it. If you haven't made bread dough before in your Thermomix, give it a go. It's absolutely fantastic, and nothing beats the smell of freshly baked bread. You can use the same principle with your bread. You could actually shape this up into bread rolls, into baguettes, and do anything you like with it. So you can see this is just dead easy. Anyone can do this. So here's our beautiful rosemary and garlic that we blitzed up a little earlier. So popping that on top. I also use this recipe to make a beautiful cheap garlicky naan bread to go with curries as well, because I can bake it in the oven and I don't have to fry it in the pan. You can dress it with cumin seeds or any kind of curry flavoured seeds of your choice. So just using the spatula to spread out that garlic, oil and rosemary. It smells absolutely amazing.